No one will ever accept what you say. I'm not divorced. All of my children are still in the home. We're still a cohesive family unit. We still have a shitload of stuff to do. Unfortunately, some circumstances have come up that have changed the way we have to do our day. That's just that. I can't tell you any more than that, but it requires more drivers. We structured our life around a particular circumstance and our schedule around this particular circumstance. It changed. Now we need an additional driver than we had. Cool. Sorry, there's only one person left in the house who wasn't driving, and that was me. So now that we've got that, until we get that rectified, which might mean hiring or employing the services of or getting help from someone else on driving, until I've got that, I just have to be present at home during the daytime to help out with that stuff. It also means that I'm running on like an hour of sleep each night until typically the evening. I'm sorry. That's my reality. You have to deal with life as it comes at you. There's nothing else you can fucking do about it. Or I could tell my kids that their schedules don't matter, that the activities we encourage them to go to, that their music lessons that they take, that all of the stuff that they do that we tell them is really important, actually it's not important anymore. I could do that, but then that would kind of undermine the basic lessons we teach our kids about making commitments and honoring them. I don't know what to tell people. Like, if you don't run a household of 7 people with my types of schedule and homeschooling, it's an atypical way of doing things. If you send your kids to school for 8 hours a day, it's way different. If I just sent my kids to public school or private school full time, sure, I could sit around streaming during the entire time. It wouldn't be a big deal, but we don't do that. We homeschool, and that homeschooling includes tons and tons of activities that our kids do that we can't teach. I can't teach piano. I can't teach violin. I can't teach art. I can't teach band or choir. Like, those are things they have to go elsewhere for. And so they do those things where you would normally have those done during a public or private school. I do have, I like homeschooling. I think it's a great program, but I do like children to be socialized a little bit into an environment with other people that aren't just their parents or siblings. I think that's important. And that's a big part of what we've done for 15 years now as homeschool families, try and find ways to incorporate our kids not only into their homeschool environment, but also into an environment that'll be more akin to a classroom if they go to college, or a workplace if they go to work. They're not going to be working with their parents. They're going to be working with other people. They need to know how to associate with other people at their level. So that's part of what they do. The trade-off of that is you're fucking driving all day. School is a babysitting service. And if you refuse the babysitting service, you have to compensate for that time and that effort. That involves being involved. 1 kid, it's less of an issue. 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids, different ages. All their shit happens at different times every day. So when I say I'm gone for a day, I wake up, again, 7 in the morning. Mind you, I stream till 4 to 5 in the morning. I wake up at 7. And then I'm gone until fucking 5 p.m. And then I come home, I might get a nap. I might not. Might get dinner going, stuff like that. And Lady Raggeds is also busy all day. And Annie's also busy all day. We're just fucking busy. It's the life you choose. And I structured a show around that schedule, and then came up with this live streaming trials idea that happened. That wasn't part of the original schedule. And it's not something I can do consistently. However, I am trying to retool into a daytime show, but that will require getting someone else to help out with the schedule until the schedule changes in the summer. And until I've got that, I just can't I can't tell you anything other than that. Like, I can't tell you I'll be around, because it just won't. I'm not going to forfeit the time of my kids to deal with that. And I live in a small town. You can't just hire someone. It's not so simple. You live in a big city, there's tons of people who are around. Small towns, they don't have as many. So until I get that sorted, that's the ropes. So you wanted an explanation? You got an explanation. There you go. Cheers. It's not the way you would do your family. I don't fucking care. It's the way I do mine. I always prioritize my family over everything else, to my detriment or to my benefit in any situation, because those kids are more important than what I do. Sat Scout says, okay, all interesting trials need to wait until school is out. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'll get someone's assistance. We're trying to line shit up. But it can't make people be the right fit. Sorry. Have fun. Too many activities. Yeah, Elephant, go fuck yourself. There you go. How's that? You don't get to tell me what like my kids get to do and don't get to do, or what I sign up for and don't. It's so amazing. The people who think they have say into your lives, you don't. I appreciate the input. Now kindly take it and fuck off. That's what BK says. Nick, we like to fuck with you. Don't take the chat seriously. I don't. But at some point, like, people do want an explanation for what's going on. And legitimately, like, there are things that I would love to do, and you can't do them, and you feel fucking bad for it because you wanted to do it. Hanzo BK says, Nick, it's a Friday. Stop responding to chat. Let's have some fucking fun. I'm having fun, aren't you? Be That Geek says, I wonder if everyone stopped supporting locals, if Nick would find it more prudent to fix his schedule so he can work. No. No. Sorry, like, that's not how it works, guys. When you prioritize something over everything else, you prioritize something over everything else. All that I have is fucking gain. Like, seriously. And I know it could go away tomorrow. Like, that's how I've run this channel forever. I don't chase down money. I don't chase down people. I don't chase down anything. I work to try and make my family's life work. That's the job of a dad and a husband. Make your family's life work to the best of your ability. Bring them whatever blessing your labor can produce. Done a pretty damn good job of it. If it goes away, I'll figure out something else because that's what you have to do. I swear the manosphere has broken men. Do this other stuff. Why? Like, but your family is important. It's actually the most important thing. So why don't you find a way to do what your family needs and then exceed what they need to the best of your ability, but maximize your time with them. And when you do that, people fucking complain. Okay. I gotcha. Enjoy. Yehorovika says, if you love your family so much, stop drinking. Yeah, Yehorovika, I'll stop drinking right now. Thank you for telling me how to support my family. Alman John 1 says, been watching since Vic Mignogna. I got faith in you, brother. Keep speaking family, faith, truth, and freedom first. Family overall. Yeah, that's what you do. I don't know what else to do. But it's like, it's the funniest thing in the world. The people who will tell you how to take care of your family, they don't know how you take care of your family. Literally have no idea what you do during the day. And they're like, this is what you need to do. It's like, actually, no, I'm doing pretty well. Aside from your misinterpretation, that part's actually secured. The whole family thing's good. There's a bunch of other shit that I need to like get fixed up because life is weird and frustrating at times. But I always work to keep the kids and the wife primo in the picture because you have to do that. Because if those aren't secure, everything else falls apart. Or you can focus on something else and watch your family fall apart and then lament why that happened. Like, I just went to work every day, super hard. Okay, great. Yeah, I don't subscribe to the same way of dealing with family that you guys do. But that's okay. I don't tell you how to live your lives. But Killington says, so why bother explaining it? Who cares? Move on. A bunch of people care constantly, all over the place. Anywhere I go on the internet right now, someone is caring about me and my family. And it's funny because they don't actually care about me or my family. They just want to bitch about something that they didn't like and then guise it under the family thing. Sorry, like they're great. And Bad Joker says Nick is the best husband and father ever. There's nothing he does wrong. Again, completely missing the point. Your job as a husband and father is to produce the maximum that you can and be engaged the maximum that you can. These two things that are in conflict, right? Because the best production you could do is to spend all your time generating labor. but then you're absent. So the best engagement you can do is spend all your time being present, but then you can't produce through your labor. So you have to have some other means to sustain the family while you do that. Now, if you win the fucking lottery or whatever, great. You can just hang around your family all day, engage with them, and then never have to produce anything. Well, most people don't win the lottery. I didn't win the lottery in that respect. I won the lottery in being able to maximize my labor's production while being wildly untalented. That's cool. Great. It turned out really well for me, and I'm happy to have it as long as I do. But that being said, I don't then compromise my engagement with my family to further maximize labor. And I know that the consumer, the viewer, whoever wants me to do more of this thing. And I'm just trying to tell you why I can't. You guys say do a trial. Again, like I like doing them when I can, but you're asking me to jump into 12-hour plus days for multiple weeks at a time sometimes. And when I can do it, yes, of course I want to. When the trial's interesting enough, when it's worth doing, when I can do it while getting but as I said with Johnny Depp, as I said with Kyle Rittenhouse, they're huge investment from my wife and kids. They have to take over all the stuff that I do in addition to all the stuff that they do. You're not just asking me to do it. You're asking 6 other people who have nothing to do with this show to do it. And when they can, they do, because that's how family works. But when they can't, I don't, because that's also how family works. Straight out of Innsmouth. Great name, by the way. It says, knows you have 6,000 people watching. Stop catering the 100 autistic kids who need you on this shit. Here's the thing. There's responding to people in a way of like responding to a troll or whatever. But then there's the opportunity to talk about something that I've talked about for 6 years now that people actually, used to kind of care about. They don't now because they just disagree, which is fine. But how to be a husband and father, in my opinion, in my experience, is something I've kind of always incorporated into this. And it frustrates people that I stop talking about it. And it also frustrates people when I start talking about it. But here's the deal, guys. Like I'm telling you that over 20 years of life, this is what I've always done. Or 20 years of marriage, I guess. Or 19 years of marriage, 20 years of relationship. I've always prioritized this relationship, then this family, or then this marriage, then this family. Always done it in the same way. If a job got in the way of my family, like on a consistent basis, and I don't mean you have to go to work, because before I had YouTube, but if a job meant you had to go to work, well, everybody has to go to work. I got it. You work a 9 to 5. But if there are extra things that got in the way of the family, if there was something that compromised the values of your family, if there's something that required you to not be able to engage in family activities, I didn't stay. If some job had demanded that I compromise on Christianity as a foundation for my family, I wouldn't stay. There was, when I worked at Wells Fargo, they started having mandatory unpaid after work meetups at a bar so you could network and socialize with your coworkers. I didn't stay. I wouldn't go to them, and I didn't stay. I was like, you need to go to these. Like, why? To network with your coworkers. I'm friendly with all my coworkers. I don't want to go to this. I want to go home to my wife. I need to do this. No, sorry. I'm done. Peace. Gone. Had to find different employment. When shit gets in the way of your family and how you interact, sometimes you just leave. Not everybody does. But like I said, been married almost 20 years now. My oldest son is 16. And that's my experience. That's my methodology. And I think it's important to kind of iterate that, because people make you into this caricature of a streamer in some way. And they know somewhere back there that you have this other thing that you do. Whenever you mention it, they get pissed off, or they create some fantasy where you don't care about the thing that you talk about, or you've been abandoned by it or whatever. It's broken down, and it's fine. Because again, people don't know. You don't let them into this stuff. But there's always an opportunity to take and talk about reality. Like, what, you want me to go back to the Google AI story and talk about that? It's funny. It's interesting. Like, I laughed at it. but it's not important. Like Google AI generating racially diverse founding fathers. Who fucking cares in the long run? Your kid's not socializing with other kids. Oh, they can't make friends or whatever. You got to help out. You got to figure that out. Your kids have projects that they want to do. Your kids are trying to get recognized by, like I said, my son made it into National Honor Society. It was a fucking surprise because I was always a shitty student. He's a great student. Blows my mind. I have no idea how he became who he is. I told him when he got it, I was like, dude, you're so cool. Like, you're all of the things as a teenager that I failed at as a teenager. Like, you're all of those things. But he's also all of the things I did well as a teenager. It's like, my goal has always been to raise a generation of kids that's better than me. And so far I'm doing okay. It's not hard. It's a low bar. Don't get me wrong. But like, so many, I see all over the internet, people like foregoing these concepts and these ideas. They like don't give a shit about any of this. They don't give a shit about anything other than the concept of a traditional family. They have a concept of a traditional family that people are supposed to engage in. But you notice how many of them don't have one? They don't talk about it. They're not married. They don't have children, or they don't have a married household with children. They've got children to divorce or whatever. They're going to, oh, we need to go back to the traditional household. You don't know how to run one. You don't do it. Like, you're not demonstrating this. You're just talking to people about how. So here you go. I'm telling you about how. And it's when you structure your life and your employment in a way to maximize what you do economically with the minimum amount of time, and you maximize the amount of time you can invest in your family with the minimum amount of negative impact. So there you go. Art the Clown over on Locals says, please try and understand. Oh, I do. Some of us have families, jobs, and lives, and all we want for you is success. I never said people don't have families, jobs, and lives. I mean, certainly some people don't have families, jobs, and probably not lives. But I'm balanced. Like, I assume most people have families, jobs, and lives to some extent. You don't have mine. You don't have my life. That's fine. He says, because you were gifted with things that others weren't. And we'd like to keep you around for to use them for good. Yes, I get it. But I don't know what to tell you other than I'm not dying. So see, this is the confusion. What do people want you to say? There's nothing you can say. They'll say you do this thing or you don't look healthy or whatever. And you go, yeah, actually, I went to the doctor and I'm literally in the best health of my entire life. I'm healthier than I was a couple years ago. My health is improving. I'm more at my target weight. My sugar numbers, my sugar's better, or my triglycerides, which were high, my cholesterol is lower. My liver function is fucking perfect, which surprises me every time. My kidney function is perfect, which surprises me every time. Like, all the shit that should be broken isn't broken. I don't know what to say other than that. Like, guys, I worry about it too. Like, if you're not on guard against your shitty behavior and the bad things that you do you even care? Well, I'm constantly thinking about all of the fucking unhealthy lifestyle choices I've made in my entire life. Once I got my heat allergy, I stopped exercising for years. I started going back to a gym recently because you got to work out. Like, you got to do this stuff. If you want to get healthier, you got to do this stuff. But it took a long time to do that. I was always surprised at how I was doing better than I thought it would be. Higher cholesterol and high triglycerides that I used to have. Man, they were never at the point where I needed medication. So you just fucking try and change your diet. And finally, recently, they started going down. Where again, my cholesterol went into normal levels. My triglycerides are less elevated than they were. So they're on a downward trend. This is fantastic. This never happened in my entire adult life that I've gotten triglycerides to go down. I don't know what specifically I changed. I just know that my current self is healthier than any time ever. People will constantly tell you that you're dying. You're doing the worst thing ever. Oh, you look bad. look, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, this is the frustration of the internet and the internet's doctors, is that they'll tell you where you are. And when you try and say, actually, no, like, I have the same concerns as you, and I got those checked, and like, they're actually really good. Like, shockingly, I expected to need, like, I was going to go start knifing homeless people and pulling their livers out and bringing them to the doctor and say, well, this won't work. It only has some meth in it, but like, I didn't have to. It was great. But I don't know what to tell you, man. It's thanks for the concern, Art. Like, you just text me or whatever. I'll tell you all of this. Here we go. Next, we got Hans PK says, don't care if you're healthy, Nick. Just care we can laugh at lol cow together. Laugh at me, laugh at everybody on earth. Seriously, laugh at everybody on earth. But, you know, like, on occasion, I will stop and say, hey, like, I get it. Some of you are joking, some of you are not, whatever. I understand. But at some point, I will say, by the way, my household's intact. That's the thing that's important to me in my life. Everything else is, you know, can be in fucking chaos. If that's intact, I'll be okay. So I work on that primarily. Everything else will align in time as I can do it. The show's one of my big priorities after that, but I can never like sacrifice my household for the show. As much as conceptually it seems easy, it's not always easy. So I'll occasionally stop and talk about it because it's what I've always done. It's what you do. And it's part of what makes me me. I can't be who I am without the family that I have. I was a different person before them.